What's going on, everybody? Khalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is the beginner's guide to the TCL Stylus 5G. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for this phone to help you get more comfortable using it. Now before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to change your wallpaper. To do this, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to settings, which you can do one of two ways. First of all, you can use the settings app, which is either going to be right here on your home screen, or if for whatever reason it's not here, it's going to be somewhere in your app drawer. So as you can see right here. And the other way you can get to settings is by pulling down the shade twice, and settings is right here. Now from the settings menu, go to home screen and lock screen. And from here, go to wallpapers. And we got a few different options here. We got live wallpapers, photos, which is going to be any photos on your Google Photos app, and then stock wallpapers on the phone itself. So for this example, we're going to go here, select whichever wallpaper you want, and from here, you can set the wallpaper for your home screen, lock screen, or both. And now, once it's done, go back to the home screen, and the wallpaper has been changed. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a handwritten note with your stylus. So this is a real easy thing to do. All you got to do is take the stylus out like this. This menu is going to show up. Go to write a note. And it's automatically going to start a new handwritten note. So you can do whatever you want here. And when you're done, hit back. And it's automatically going to save. Now, if you're out of your notes app but you want to start a new handwritten note, you don't actually have to put your stylus back in and take it out, although I guess technically that is a viable option. All you need to do is go to your tools folder. So if you just leave your home screen at the default and don't touch it at all, it's probably going to be here on the second page right there. But if you do move things around, you can also find this in your app drawer. So the tools folder is right here. So open this, go to notes. This is going to take you to your main note screen. Now this might be a little confusing to some people. The default screen right here is basically your main notes app. So this is for type notes and stuff like that. But to get to the handwritten notes, go to the tab that says handwriting. And the notes are going to be right here. So if you want to start a new one, you can, or you can choose an old one that you already had. Now I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to customize your home screen. Now earlier in the video, you probably saw me go to the settings. From the settings menu, go to home screen and lock screen. And there are a bunch of different options here, but there's actually a much quicker way to do this that's a lot more convenient when you're trying to change things around on your home screen. So all you gotta do is press and hold your finger on a blank spot on your home screen and make sure it's a blank spot, otherwise you're just gonna move whatever you're touching. So if I do an app or something like that, not quite what we want. So when you press and hold your finger on a blank spot on your home screen, this is gonna show up. You can change your wallpapers, themes, add or remove widgets, and access that same home settings menu you see from the main settings menu. So when you first get your phone and you're setting up your home screen, this is definitely a convenient way to access all the features. So one more time in case you missed it, press and hold any finger on a blank spot in your home screen. And there we go. Now we're going to take a look at some sound settings. So to get to these, go to settings, and from this menu, go to sound and vibration. So the first thing we got up at the top are a few different volumes. Now as you can see, this phone specifically is in mute. I always keep all my phones in mute. I don't really like them making sounds. But assuming it's not in mute, ring volume, pretty self-explanatory. This is your ringtone volume, notification volume, pretty much everything else, including text messages, so keep that in mind. Media volume, so for videos, music, games, all that stuff. And then finally, alarm volume. You can also go in silent mode from here, but the quicker and easier way to do it is by pressing either of your volume keys and double pressing this icon right here. And now we're in silent mode. You can also change your ringtone from here, and by default it's not going to vibrate, but if you want it to make sound and vibrate, you can always turn this on. In addition to this, if you have a custom ringtone, you can add it here as well. Under this we got the notification ringtone, pretty much the same thing. You can also add a custom for this. And then finally we got the alarm ringtone. You can also turn on do not disturb, but the quicker and easier way to do it is by pulling down your shade twice. And from this menu, do not disturb is right here. Now this phone also has several system sounds it makes, like that popping sound when you type and stuff like that. And I know some people really like that, but some of you might not. So if you don't like those sounds, to turn them off, go to more sound settings. And as you can see, pretty much everything is on by default, so you can turn all of these off if you want. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to control which apps send you notifications. Now this is really important, at least for me, because I have a bunch of apps and some of them send the most meaningless notifications and it gets super annoying. And not only can getting a bunch of notifications be annoying, but it also makes it easier to miss something important. So what we're going to do is go to Settings. And from here, go to Notifications. From this menu, go to Manage App Notifications. In this menu right here is basically going to give you a list of all your apps, and as you can see by default all the notifications are turned on, but you can go through this and turn off notifications from pretty much anything you want. Now there are some system notifications in here that can't be turned off, but don't worry, you're really not even going to get those. I've been using this phone for a little bit now and I haven't even gotten a single one. So if you do have a lot of apps and you're finding yourself constantly bothered by a bunch of notifications that don't matter, then this is where you're going to want to go. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a screenshot. Now this is real easy. All you got to do is press the power key and the volume down key at the same time. And keep in mind when you press these buttons, you don't need to hold them. Just press them once like this and you're pretty much good to go. This toolbar is going to show up. You can share it, delete it, whatever you want to do. As you can see, it doesn't really last very long, but if you miss it, it's no big deal. It's going to be saved right to your photos. So if you go there, as you can see, the screenshot is right here. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to turn on dark mode. Now there's a short way to do this and there's also a long way, and I'm going to show you the long way first because it does have some settings you might want to change. So essentially to do this, go to Settings. From here, go to Display. And dark mode is right here, go here. And as you can see, by default of course it is off, turn it on. And we are now in dark mode. Pretty simple. Not exactly the fastest way to do it, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, as you can see here, by default, it's not going to be automated, but you can actually schedule it. So if you turn this on, so as you can see, by default, when you schedule it, it's going to turn on at 10 p.m. and turn off at 7 a.m. But that being said, you can schedule it to pretty much anything you want. Now don't get me wrong, turning on dark mode from the settings is easy enough, but like I said before, there's a much faster way to do it. Keep in mind though, if you want to schedule it, that's how you're going to actually have to do it. But if you don't and you just want to toggle it on and off, all you need to do is pull down the shade. And dark mode is right here, turn this on. And as you can see, dark mode is now on. And if you want to turn it back off, do the same thing. And there we go. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen lock. To do this, go to Settings. From here, go to Security and Biometrics. And from this menu, as you can see, screen lock is right here. Enter your current PIN. And as you can see, we got a few different options here. There's None and Swipe, which basically None and Swipe are the same thing. Then there's Pattern, a decent choice but not really that high security. PIN, which is essentially the industry standard. And Password if you want really high security. Now in case you didn't know, this phone also does have a fingerprint scanner and it works really well. And turning it on is pretty easy. So what we're going to do is go back to the main security menu. And under screen lock, as you can see, fingerprint is right here. Enter your PIN one more time. From here, go to Add Fingerprint, and it's going to give you some on-screen instructions to register your fingerprint. Pretty straightforward. And then by default, it will be activated and you don't really need to do anything else. Now, if for whatever reason you don't want to use your fingerprint anymore, you can simply toggle off Unlock Device. And now, with this off, if I lock the device, the fingerprint scanner will no longer work. In addition to this phone also does have Face Unlock, so from the main security menu, Face Unlock is right under Fingerprint, and it works exactly the same way. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen timeout time. To do this, go to Settings. From here, go to Display, and from the display menu, go to Sleep right here. So as you can see here, I have it set to never just for these videos. In real life, I would not do this. It's going to drain the battery so much. But if you're reading or watching a long movie or something like that, I could understand using it. And you can also make it as short as 15 seconds. So it really depends on how you're actually using your phone. If you're not consuming a lot of content, not reading, anything like that, then you don't really need it to be that long. Because in that situation, all it's really going to do is just drain your battery if you forget to lock it. But if you are consuming a lot of content, if you're playing games, reading, or watching a video or something like that, then you might want it to be a little bit longer. All I can say is if you have a longer screen timeout time, definitely be careful with it. Because again, if you have it set to something crazy like never or 30 minutes, then the screen is not going to lock unless you lock it yourself. But this concludes my beginner's guide to the TCL Stylus 5G. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found these tips and tricks useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And again, if you want to learn more about this phone's specs and features, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But that's it for this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.